Spilling Ink is brought to you by Book Branders, your self-publishing concierge.
All right. Welcome again, everyone, to the Grand Rapids Comic-Con, and I, as always, am your favorite host, Jason Lavelle, and I'm here with Stacey Filak. Very good to meet you, Stacey.
You as well.
Have you been enjoying the convention?
I have. It's been great. I was very impressed by the size of it, and so many great costumes, and so many people having a great time. And all the nerds uniting, because that is where my heart lives.
Yes,
so.
Nerds forever. Now, what's the coolest cosplay you've seen here so far?
Oh, honestly, there was one that I'm not even sure what it was from. I think it might have been from a video game. It was like a scarecrow witch with lips sewed shut, and it was amazing.
Nice.
It was amazing, but I am not very well versed in video games, so.
You know, and I'm not either. There was a couple of them that were these giant, really tall figures with these crazy heads put on them.
Yes.
And I think they told me that they were from Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a movie. And
Also a movie.
Yeah, they said it was a terrible movie, but the video games are great.
Yes.
So like, okay, well, the cosplay was awesome.
Yes.
So that's all that really matters to me.
And there was a Hulk from Thor Ragnarok walking around, and he was about 10 feet tall, and he was fantastic.
I didn't get to see him.
Oh, he was amazing.
It was today that he was here?
Yeah, he was awesome.
I'm going to have to try to track him down then, because I loved Ragnarok. That was my jam. We just watched it last night.
It's so good.
Yes, so good. All right, so, The Queen Underneath. This is your debut novel?
It is, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
So it is, it's considered upper YA. It is the story of a city that has been divided by choice. It is, the above is ruled by the legitimate sort of noble elements of society, and the under is the criminal element of society. And the thieves and the assassins and the sex workers and everybody, they're busy taking care of everybody else while the nobles are doing their own thing. And one day the king of above and the queen of under are both assassinated, and that leaves their very young heirs to try and figure out what to do. So Interesting. Well, you see, and now my mind is already trying to figure out some plot details that we obviously can't get into because we don't want to give spoilers. But True.
It on your website, it mentioned that this was a loose retelling of Sleeping Beauty.
It is.
Can we get into that without being spoilers, or not really?
So at some point in the story, when they get to discovering what happened to the king and the queen, they realize that the whole city has been put to sleep.
Okay.
And so there's this little ragtag group of criminals running around trying to save everybody, who is, the whole kingdom has been put to sleep. So
I like it. It kind of reminds me of the Guardians of the Galaxy, this ragtag group of ne'er-do-wells that are actually saving the universe.
Yes, and I think that's a very apt comparison, and frankly makes my heart go pitter-patter. So
yes, well, I'm a huge Marvel nerd. That's my big fandom is Marvel. That, and even though it's not really a fandom, I love Jurassic Park. Like, I think I love Jurassic Park more than people should love Jurassic Park.
My son is a big Jurassic Park fan. Huge. My 10-year-old, and it was really funny. We just watched Fallen Kingdom the other night, and he'd gone and seen it in the theater with his dad. And of course, my husband was being, smart, and he kept saying, "I bet nobody can guess what'll happen next," because they do get a little predictable.
Yeah.
And my son was so mad. Stop spoiling it.
Yeah.
So, but I can get down with a big, Tyrannosaurus Rex causing mayhem. Whatever.
Yeah, they're cool. I don't know. Maybe it's just a fascination since childhood. I mean, dinosaurs are just these giant, amazing things that we're never going to get to see.
Right, and the idea, I think that the original Jurassic Park is brilliant. What an amazing idea to tell a story about what would happen if we dropped dinosaurs into modern America. Well, they would kill us all.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and have you read the book Jurassic Park by
Oh
chance?
yeah, I read it.
yeah.
I'm dating myself, but I read it way back in high school. So.
Oh yeah, I did the same. I read it, I think I was freshman year, and the book is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So good.
So smart. Everything that Crichton wrote way back in the day was so smart. And he might have been the first true science fiction author that I really understood, because he was smart in a way that didn't make you feel dumb.
Yeah. And all of his books were really entertaining, and they were all that same way, where they had enough science in there to make you feel like, man, this stuff is legit.
Right.
I
totally believe this could happen.
Yeah, after that, I was like, man, I totally believe that they could be sequencing dino DNA. And, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
No, that's fun. Yeah, I love a good fantasy, and I've actually been reading a lot of fantasy this year, kind of getting out of my normal thrillers, and it's been a lot of fun. So, you would consider this a upper YA fantasy?
So to be perfectly honest, I wrote it as adult fantasy.
So upper YA, we're talking about violence and danger and swearing, but no sex, right?
No, we're talking sex.
Sex too?
The whole
Whoa!
shebang. Yeah.
Isn't that called NA, new adult?
Well, yeah. So theoretically, yes. New adult is, according to my publisher, not a real genre.
Wow. Okay.
So,
all right.
I would, everybody's kids are different. And, my 14-year-old read it. I was okay with that. She and I have had very, open conversations about sex. So she was fine with it. Some kids at 16 or 17 aren't ready for it. So it's definitely, the main character's best friend is a sex worker.
Okay.
And it's not, it's not glossed over or covered up. It's there. So.
Well, good. And I'm very. Our family is very sex positive.
Yes.
And the only two kids that we have left at home, one is 16 and one is 10. And of course, our 10-year-old, we don't let her watch movies that have graphic sex and nudity in it, because that would just be weird. She's not nearly ready to see that kind of thing.
Yes.
But our 16-year-old, we don't care what she watches or sees, because we know who she is as a person.
Correct.
And who we've cultivated her to be and grow up to be. And
one of the things that was really important for me with this book was to portray positive sexual relationships in a way that, there is a love story going on, and it's an established couple. It's not a new romance. They've been together for a while, and that was important for me to show. And also, there's some unhealthy, relationships going on, and it's very clear which is which.
Well, and I think that that's important to have in any piece of artwork, is to have that balance between light and dark, and that's essential, I think, for us as readers in being able to keep entertained with it.
Yeah.
Now, who is your publisher? Page
my
Street.
publisher is Page Street. They have only just started publishing fiction within the last year.
Oh.
Mine was the third of their fiction books to come out.
Wow,
yeah,
nice.
Thank you.
Congrats.
So they've
Oh,
always
that
been sort of a,
gorgeous.
isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
Isn't it pretty? I was thrilled.
Can you get it shines. It's iridescent. That's amazing.
My designer, her name was Rosie Stewart, and she is amazing.
Wow, I can.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is.
She did the best job. And as a debut author, you don't have any say. So that was one of the things that I laid awake at night worrying about, but they did a beautiful job.
Okay. Now, is Page Street a smaller press, or are they a...
It is a smaller press. They are distributed through Macmillan, so they've got the backing of a big press behind them. But it is a smaller press, and up until this year, they were basically nonfiction, a lot of cookbooks, things like that.
Okay.
And then they started their YA line, and since the YA line launched, they've also launched a kids line. So,
cool.
So they're really kind of spreading their wings and doing really well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are you a Are you a veterinarian, or you manage
Oh
the
no,
hospital?
I
or
manage
what?
the hospital.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I actually work as a vet tech in
Oh,
Holland, Michigan.
Very nice.
Yep, at the Kingdom Animal Hospital.
Very nice.
So I thought it was real fun when I saw that
Yeah,
you were at a vet's
yeah.
office. That's cool. So are you in the shop day to day, or do you manage it
I am
remotely?
there day to day, 40 hours a week. Yeah.
And is your place pretty busy?
It is actually. We've just expanded. We were a 3-doctor practice, and we've just hired a 4th doctor within the last couple months.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And we were a 1-doctor practice and just hired 2 doctors.
Oh,
so
my,
now we have 3.
yeah.
It's like, whoa.
yeah,
And
it's a big jump.
It is huge,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because there's so many more people in the door,
Yes,
and
yes.
it can be a little overwhelming. But I
Yeah.
love all my animal friends, and that's,
Oh, yes.
that's the whole reason I'm there. It's like, yeah, people.
People are fine.
I like authors. Authors are cool, but other people, because authors are crazy like me. And
That's true.
we understand what it's like to live in this really strange world that you have to be in to be an author.
It was really funny. I just had a management meeting with our whole statewide management team, like all these other managers, and we did this personality test, our strengths.
Uh-oh.
And everybody else is like, organized and responsible and all of these things. And mine were all like empathy and things that are in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in my head. And I was like,
Yep.
yeah, that's the author.
Yep. Yeah, and I feel the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have the same strengths as normal people,
Yeah,
okay?
no. That's why I love coming to places like this, because everybody's, we all kind of get each other a little bit.
Well, and what amazes me about coming to conventions, well, there are people of all different races here, all different sexes here, however people are identifying, all different fandoms,
Yes.
and everybody is getting along beautifully.
Right. Well, that's what happens when you get off the internet and show up in person.
Yes. Well, and I think it's because we're all, even though we're all into our own things, we're all nerds, and we're embracing our love of this kind
things.
of culture.
Yeah. The first con that I ever went to was about 5 or 6 years ago, and I left there thinking, wow, I'm not the only person in the world like me, And it was amazing to feel that and to be able to have conversations with people and not feel, sort of awkward and I mean, I'm a 42-year-old woman, and I wrote a fantasy book, and people are like, well, when are you going to write a real book, And I'm like, I'm never going to write a real book.
Oh.
If this isn't a real book, I'm never going to write a real book. Because
What do
this
they
is
want
all
you to
that I
write. I mean,
literary fiction,
Oh,
and,
man.
and
sorry for people who love literary fiction, but I've got to be entertained.
There are some fantastic literary fiction books out there, but I will never write one because I require magic and swords in everything that I.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need magic and swords, or action and adventure, or a combination of all their.
Right.
all
Or
of
at
them.
least some magic science or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and when I write, I write paranormal thrillers, and when I say paranormal, everyone thinks I'm writing paranormal romance. That's not what I write.
No.
I have a lot of friends that write that, so it's all good. I have a great deal of respect for you guys, but what I like to write is more considered magical realism, where everything's grounded in the real world, but there are some supernatural elements. Because I like having that speckled in there, and it makes me feel the way I want it to make other people feel is that there could be some craziness going on in your world that's you just don't know about. It's just there
And
beyond
quite
the
frankly,
veil.
I don't ever want to live a life where I don't feel like there's something secret and more than what I see, because there's too many things in my head not to imagine there's something else going on.
We are not a political show, so I won't bring up politics. I always try not to anyway. But there are a lot of ugly, terrible things that are happening in our country right now.
Yes.
And I feel like being able to entertain people with a piece of fantasy is an important thing. I had a really tough time in middle school and high school. I was a really depressed child, and I sunk into books. And I read through all of Piers Anthony's books, and then on to Orson Scott Card and Asimov, and they really got me through.
Yeah.
It's what got me through that really challenging part of my life.
Yeah.
And so I think being able to provide that for others is not only an incredible responsibility, but it's so rewarding.
Yes, yes.
You know?
I agree. And I think that you can take real world issues and real world problems and address them in a fantasy setting in a way that makes it so that it's not, this isn't fluff. There are,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. You know, and I think that that's, you know, you don't have to, it's not escapism so much as, you know, a little bit of space for yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm working on a novella, so I'm just checking to make sure that's still running. So I'm working on a novella right now that's my super secret project that you guys are going to find out about now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, it's called The Life of Pets, and it's not The Secret Life of Pets by Pixar, or whoever did that one.
Because that would be really secret.
Yes, that would be really secret. And the idea for it came to me actually working at the vet's office.
Right.
Because we see some pretty strange things at a vet's office, and
yes.
the things that people want you to do with their animals, and the liberties that we're able to take with animals that you would never get away with humans.
Right.
So I started to get this idea for what if we lived in a society that was a little bit like A Handmaid's Tale, if
Right.
you're familiar with that.
Yes.
But the unfortunates or the lessers were kind of sold into slavery as pets. And so the story takes place in this human veterinarian's office, and all
Wow.
of the things that they see and the challenges that this woman, this veterinarian, has to go through to not only sleep at night, but then how is she going to grow and change and try to change this system? But
My mind is blown.
it's going to be,
That's amazing.
you know, and it's, well, on the surface it may not seem like it. It's really dark.
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I totally, as someone who works in a veterinary office, I'm totally like, oh no.
Yeah, right? Right? The things that we do.
Yeah.
All right, well, now that we've gotten all deep and dark, I have a little game for you.
Okay.
This is my lightning round questions game.
Oh boy.
Basically, I'm going to read you a question, and I just want you to tell me whatever the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
First question I ask everyone, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh yes.
All right.
Let's move far away now.
All right. Okay. We're moving on. We're gonna try to forget that. What day is it?
Saturday.
Yes, you got that. You're doing good. And this is a really hard one. So you can do just like in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Favorite author?
Ooh. Joe Abercrombie.
Joe Abercrombie. Oh, okay. Shrek or The Lion King?
Shrek.
All right. I'm with you on that one. No, you're doing better now. Books or movies?
Books.
TARDIS or vortex manipulator?
TARDIS.
All right. Okay. We're doing good. Drake or cockatrice?
Oh,
Don't
Drake.
Don't ask me to describe a cockatrice
No, I
because
know
I
what
get
it
confused.
is. I played Magic the Gathering. I know what it is.
Good. Okay. All right. All right. Something weird that you do.
Oh, something weird that I do. Well, a lot of people think that the fact that I play D&D still, well, it's not really D&D, but mostly D&D, still as a 42-year-old woman is pretty weird.
Okay.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
weird, but
Yeah. Well, my oldest son, who's turning 20 very shortly here, is our dungeon master at our
There you
house,
go.
and
There
I'm
you go.
38. I'm not quite 42. I mean, I'm not saying that's ancient, but even it
It's
is quite a
pretty
bit older than I am. All right, best movie this year.
Oh, best movie this year. Infinity War? Was that this year?
Yeah, it was
It
this
must
year.
have been this year. Yeah, I'd say Infinity War.
Okay. Well, and that leads into the next question: Marvel or DC?
Ugh, Marvel.
Okay, good.
That's
good.
a ridiculous question.
Yeah, I think so too. But someone actually said DC, and I about fell out of the chair.
No.
David Tennant or Matt Smith?
Oh, David Tennant. You never get over your first Doctor.
You know what? Sadly, that's true. I'm a Matt Smith man because Matt was who I started with. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, I have a great deal of respect for David Tennant because he's a phenomenal actor.
Yes. And I think what they did with him in Jessica Jones, I couldn't watch the Doctor for a while
Right.
because of what happened
He
in
was-
Jessica Jones.
That was dark.
Yes.
That was
it was
dark.
really dark.
All right, Dean or Sam?
Oh, okay. So I don't know because my daughter will yell at me, but I've never watched Supernatural.
No, I've only watched a couple episodes.
Yeah,
the
the blonde one. I like the blonde one.
Is he the one with the long hair or the short hair?
Short hair.
That's Dean. I
don't know.
I don't know. One of them. They're both cute, I guess. All right, dogs or cats?
Oh, I have both. Gut reaction, cats.
Really?
Yeah,
You have both and you pick cats?
I do.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a yellow lab named
they're-
Big B.
They're like the sweetest dogs
I
on
know,
earth.
he is the best dog.
Wow, all right. I can only assume that there's some kind of layers crust.
It's
something to do with the
possible.
pizza. It's the pineapple you've been eating on the
It's
pizza.
I've probably poisoned my brain.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's probably it.
My logic sensors are not working.
Mornings or evenings?
Oh, evenings.
Okay, good.
Mornings
yeah.
are the worst.
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure.
It can be anything. Don't think too hard.
Everything just went out of my head. Well, I really love the Cassandra Clare Shadowhunters books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I really
Okay.
loved them. And then I watched the movie and it was bad and it made me sad.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gave me a panic attack because I was like, that was a really good
You
book and they could
ruined
ruin it.
it.
And what if I married a book and it gets ruined? And
Oh, well, at least you rest easy knowing that you at least got a paycheck from them
That's
ruining it.
exactly. That's what my
Maybe-
husband said too. He said, "Who cares?"
Right? I don't understand. And you know what? That's a question that we sometimes ask guests too. Oh, so we'll ask this. This isn't a speed round question, but you can answer it fast if you want. So, studio offers you $50,000 for the rights to your book,
Okay.
but they're going to do whatever they want with it. You have zero say. Could be a TV show, could be a movie, could be anything.
Correct.
Could be a Broadway production.
Correct.
Do you take the money?
Heck yes.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I got a mortgage.
You're right. Exactly.
You know, I got a mortgage and car to pay for it.
Exactly.
Well, some people are like, no way. And these are usually young, first time indie authors that.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, no, you don't understand how this works.
Well,
there's
and
not really
part
any
of-
money in it.
Yes, and part of I think why I can say that now is that after going through the publishing process, so much has changed and so many fingers are on it, and things get. I said in my panel, this is not the book of my heart and soul. This is like I wrote a rough draft of my heart and soul, and then it became a group project.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I can distance myself from it now. And so if they want to pay me $50,000 to make a puppet show, hey.
Yeah. All right. Good. I'll take. Now, do you have an agent?
I do.
Okay. How did you get your agent?
I spent about a year querying.
Okay.
And it is a long, terrible, process
Yeah.
that requires a thick skin that continues to get thicker and thicker and thicker
Yeah.
the longer you go through it.
So was it your agent that put you in contact with
Yes.
Page Street?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful.
And she has earned every single penny 1,000,000 times over.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, as they're a smaller press, so how does that work with your agent? Because they usually don't get paid unless they're getting paid based on your royalties, something like
Correct.
that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that's true no matter who you sell to, whether you sell to a
Okay.
big press, small press, whatever. You sign a contract with your agent. Usually the industry norm is 15%. So 15% of what I make for selling anything goes to her. But I can tell you she's put in 3 years of work for not much money at this point in time.
Yeah,
So.
totally worth it.
But she's awesome. She's awesome, and I get why some people go self-publishing, but I would never change the way I've done it because she's always got my back, and she's amazing.
That's awesome. Do you want to? Is she a secret, or do you want to give her a shout out?
Her name's Rena Rossner, and she actually just released her own first novel called The Sisters of the Winter Woods, and it's awesome, and she's awesome.
Rita Rosner?
Rena Rossner.
Rena Rosner, Sisters of the
Winter Woods.
Winter Woods.
Yep.
Okay. All
Yep.
right, cool.
So she's awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to
You
check
all
that
should be
out.
jealous. She's the best.
All right, we're going to give you one more question here.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, you know what? You're a nice lady, so I'll give you a nice question.
Okay.
Where would the Sorting Hat place you?
Oh, we just did this the other night, and I am hardcore Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Hardcore.
Hufflepuffs are good.
I always wanted to be Ravenclaw, because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I'm smarter than I am, but I'm clearly a mom of 4 kids, and I'm a Hufflepuff.
Our doctor, or one of our doctors at the vet's office, always gives me crap because she got Ravenclaw and I got Gryffindor. I was like, I'm brave, but I'm dumb, apparently. I just make bad decisions for 7 movies straight.
My oldest daughter just got sorted into Gryffindor, and she's like, I'm always Gryffindor. I will be Gryffindor forever. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd be proud of that, but go ahead.
Dumb and strong. That's all right. No, we love you, Gryffindor. We
love
do.
You.
We love you, Harry
love
Potter.
You. We need you to save us repeatedly.
Well, it was great to talk with you, Stacey.
You too.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. It was fun.
Excellent. All right. That's it for this convention, and I will talk to you guys next episode.
Awesome.
Sweet.